SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Never take your heart health for granted. For just $99, you can get a complete screening and know your risks. Call 601-249-5198 to schedule your Happy Healthy Heart screening at Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
We are live from the house that Josh Freeman built. Oh. The house that Byron Leftwich built. Oh. Tom Brady. Oh. Or Baker Mayfield. SEC Media Days, Tampa, Florida. Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad in Houston. We would not survive over there without Houston. Will East in the studio. We are here all 4 days, as we always are, bringing you as much as we possibly can when it comes to Mississippi State, Ole Miss, around the SEC, and even we might get to a little bit of the fact that Michigan fired their AD today the second Greg Sankey took the podium. That is as PR masterclass
that
as
is
you
the
could
kind
possibly
of pettiness that I can get behind. I love it.
And I love being here, and we are so excited to bring you guys coverage all week long. Today, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kentucky, and Tennessee. We'll talk about all of them, and we will visit with Will Stein, the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, here coming up at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Executive Director of the College Football Playoff, Rich Clark, going to join us right here in about 30 minutes from now.
We're going to pull this chair right here up. We're just going to pull it up, and he's going to sit in it.
Matt Berry, the new host of SEC Nation, will join us at the top of the next hour alongside Chris Doring, Brandon Marcello, Brooks Austin, and Greg McElroy. I think we have a pretty full show today.
It's no surprise. We did the work, and now you guys get to enjoy it. We are here wherever we go. We're in the Pearl River Resort Studios. Pearl River Resort is a sponsor of SEC Media Days coverage here on Sports Talk Mississippi. Guys, this weekend coming up, maybe take some time off for yourself, right, and enjoy a weekend at Pearl River Resort. Eat some great food, play golf, take the family to the water park. You can do it all right there at Pearl River Resort. C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. Right now at C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want with one move with the Ultimate Connect package. That includes a new iPhone 17 or Android, I forget the name of it. I don't have my read, Will. I don't have it. Did you just send it to me?
The new Android.
But you can also, new tablet, new smartwatch, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. So check it out. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today. C-Spire, inspired by you.
Everybody here.
Yeah.
All of you. Sad day, bad day, though. Sad day, bad day, Brian Hadad.
What happened
today? Is Masters rejection
I've seen it on
day.
my Facebook. Everybody's like, maybe next year.
I called my dad because what we are doing, and if anybody at Augusta is listening, we're not doing this because you're only allowed to do one per household. So we're not doing this, okay? My dad and I, or a friend of mine and his dad are getting every family member that lives in a different home, even if they have no interest, to apply for the lottery. Yeah. So when I got rejected, I called my dad. I was like, Dad, it's Masters Lottery Day. And so he had to check. Had to check grandparents. He had to check.
I'm surprised you guys don't get me to do that.
Honestly,
though, if I got it, I would go.
You should.
Yeah.
I would make you go. It depends. Practice rounds, you get 4. Weekend rounds, you get 2. I would force you to go.
With.
You would have no choice but to go.
My wife would want to go.
But I got rejected today.
Let me ask you a question. If we went to the Augusta, if we went to the Masters, and let's say we watched the round, we're having a great time, afterwards, would we go eat some dinner?
We'd probably eat there.
See, I just can't. This guy.
Hey, Dad's bothered with me right now because when the show ends, I just want to grab some food and then go to bed.
Let's just go somewhere and get something to eat.
I've got a podcast to do immediately after the show
God.
because we had guests that talked about Ole Miss. I'm going to splice that together and put that in the Rebel Report podcast.
You go right ahead.
I don't have the luxury of doing it during the day like you do.
You could have that luxury.
I guess I could. But we're going to be busy here over the next 3 hours. And, I mean, this is just exciting. It's one of those times where we'll visit with Greg Sankey tomorrow. We'll talk about some things that he had to say today. And by we'll visit, I mean I'll visit. Hey, Dad was no part of that conversation.
I got one thing to say to Greg Sankey.
But I'm going to focus tomorrow more on local stuff with him.
Yeah.
Today they talked big picture, and something that I have just been hammering home about the playoff and the conference schedule that not enough people are talking about, and something that he said in there did not get enough, like, oh, that's not good reaction. I don't know what I'm missing, or maybe I'm just the pioneer of this. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But just talking football all day, hey, Dad, being around people talking football, we are positioned right behind ESPN's set when they join SportsCenter. The SEC network's to our left. CBS is right here to our right. It's just fun to smell football again.
I agree.
It doesn't smell like football. It smells like bad cologne in here. But, I mean, but it kind of smells like football.
My wife says it smells nice. What's wrong with you? What do you got against Curve for Men? Yeah.
I'm wearing Tommy Bahama, so I'm in that category too. Don't get me wrong here.
This is, they call it the unofficial start of college football season, whatever you want to do. Just to get here and see football players, football coaches, talk football, see the guys that you're going to see throughout the season, the guys that are going to be on this show, that are going to be on our podcasts throughout the season, talking about different teams. This is the time for it. And, man, it's just so much joy. I feel joy when I'm at SEC Media Days. I know a lot of people like to put it down. A lot of people say it's meaningless. It's not for me. And this is the start of the football. We got this week. We'll talk football all this week. Next week is a little bit of a lull. It's the last breath, and then camp will start.
You do get NFL training. If you're just a football fan, next week you're right because there is kind of the lull from the college perspective. But NFL training camps are starting. So we at least get that next week, and that'll be exciting, too. Somebody said that they think they saw me on Get Up this morning.
There's no way, if you've been watching SEC Network, there's no way you haven't seen me, Borkey, or maybe even Houston as well, because the way they're set up, we are literally right there.
Well, I shouldn't admit this out loud, especially because there's producers around and stuff. Oh, that was intentional. I made sure that there was a certain 6-year-old that was watching TV, and Dad got on the phone to walk behind the camera so he could see it. I even stopped and gave a little wave, and we do this like chest bump thing like that. So, you saw me on Get Up this morning, and I don't regret the unprofessional nature of me forcing myself on to Get Up this morning. I'm not going to apologize.
Nor should you.
I'm not going to apologize for that at all. Did you hear anything today that stood out, big time stood out to you? I think an underrated storyline. I'll start. John Mateer's health. He's healthy. He was not healthy after week 3 last season through the playoff, and you could tell he wasn't healthy. Mm-hmm. He's healthy now, and I think that's an underrated storyline going into this season is, hey, he didn't have a thing on his hand anymore.
You're correct, and some of the things he said today, there's a maturity about what he said. John Mateer, first half of the season, first 5 games, was on his way to winning a Heisman Trophy. If we had the September Heisman, he would have won it.
Yeah.
And he was playing at a really, really high level. Then he suffers that injury, and he's just not the same. And I give him a lot of credit. He gutted it out. He really had to
let his team to the playoffs.
Put his head down and do that and get to the playoffs. But if he's healthy, there's some of the things we say about Mississippi State we can say about Oklahoma, but the ceiling far higher on Oklahoma, and that the defense is going to be good with Venables running the show, right? If Mateer is good, they're going to be a team that competes to be back in the college football playoff. Now, how far can they go? Are they a championship contender? Are they a team who can win a national title? I don't know about that, but I do know that. They were in the playoff last year. They got to host a playoff game. there's no reason to think they can't be right back there if Mateer is able to deliver for them.
I'm so out on the, well, this team can't win a championship conversation. I'm done with it. I mean, we'll have him on later this week, and I'm going to ask him about it. Roman Harper, the Saint. We love Roman Harper.
We do.
But he said something last night on their SEC Media Days preview show where he was like, it's Ole Miss. They can't win because it's Ole Miss. And just dismissive. And it's like,
I always liked Roman Harper. He's a great American.
But he would apply the same logic to Mississippi State as well.
Good, so would I.
But here's the thing. We just watched Indiana do what they've done. You can't be dismissive of, history says they can't win, so just brush them aside. That's done now. And so this... And you didn't say this, but Oklahoma, they can't win a championship. Why not?
They're
really good on the line of scrimmage, and they have a quality quarterback that can win, man.
I've said this for the past couple of years. There are playoff contenders and there are championship contenders. I think Oklahoma is a playoff contender. I don't see a national championship team.
But look at Miami last year too.
I mean, I get it, but
they peaked at the right time. They were really good.
We didn't know some of the pieces they had, how good they were going to be at that time.
That offensive line
and that defensive line. I mean,
they're unbelievable.
When you're good on the line of scrimmage, you're halfway home when it comes to college football.
Greg Sankey said some things today. Again, we're not going to have time to ask him about this tomorrow, so I'm glad he brought it up. This 9-game conference schedule thing, we talk about it a lot. He provided a quote today that I think, frankly, should be concerning to you out there listening if you have a team that you think can compete for a playoff spot. I'll tell you what I mean by that. Maine. Brian Kelly's here today.
What's going on?
I will tell you what I mean by that when we come back. SEC Media Day, Sports Talk Mississippi, live in a rainy Tampa, Florida. We'll be back.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you in part by Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Company.
Oh, one-handed catch.
Sports Talk Mississippi live on what is known as Digital Drive. Radio Row just has a better ring to it. We are at SEC Media Days in Tampa. We are presented by Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance, local agents and adjusters, great rates, fair, fast claims. Go to msfbins.com to find a local agent near you.
All right. Greg Sankey gave his State of the League address, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And usually as that goes, you have we participated in this many national championships, and it was like 13 of 20, which is super impressive. They have sponsored 20 sports, and we're in the national championship game in 13 of them. You know, that's pretty good, right? But who cares? Everything here is about football. Stat of the day, 40% of Power 4 football, 40% of the viewership in Power 4 football is SEC games. 40% of the Power 4 is one conference.
Okay.
But that is not the important thing here. We talk often, and you guys have heard me say over and over and over again, the league made a mistake going to a 9-game conference schedule without getting the expanded playoff. They made the schedules more difficult without getting a reward because the league has added 8 losses, as you know, and the games that the extra conference game are replacing are usually Troy, South Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, for Mississippi State, it is Troy.
Literally
Troy.
Troy.
A game with Troy.
And so that, I think, was an unnecessary, unforced error. They got played because they thought they were getting the expanded playoff. They didn't get it, and it's a mistake. Now, he talked about it, and he said decisions were made after thoughtful discussion. He wants the teams to embrace the challenges. It will prepare the teams for the highest level of competition when the playoffs come and all that stuff. And that's great, but I also kind of don't really agree with that last part.
Right.
That playing the grueling SEC schedule better prepares you for the playoff.
I tend to agree.
Who are the 2 most healthy and rested and physical teams in the college football playoff last year? One from the Big Ten that played a relatively weak schedule, and one from the ACC that played a weak schedule. So was Miami battle-tested going into the playoff? No. The answer is no.
I mean, their toughest battle was their first game when they played Notre Dame.
Yeah. So
Indiana's toughest battle was their last game before the playoff when they played Ohio State.
And we're about to visit with Rich Clark live here. He's going to sit with us here in just a few minutes. But Greg Sankey had kind of a money quote today when they talked about the 9-game conference schedule. And back during spring meetings in Destin, he said that relative to the strength of schedule, because the question was, and I'm paraphrasing, well, you made your schedule more difficult. You say that the league is, going to be battle-tested and all that, but is the committee going to factor that in? And his answer was that they had, quote, unsatisfactory conversations, end quote, with members of the college football playoff and the committee during spring meetings in Destin relative to strength of schedule, and I cannot believe that was not the thing that most people took away from as this is the league admitting it messed up.
Yeah.
By, hey, we added
you had Drinkwitz come out there, too, and say something about it.
Another coach on the record said, we already regret moving to the 9th conference.
And on the record said that Lane Kiffin has been one of the driving forces of what are we doing.
And he, in his defense, he was like that in Oxford.
Yeah, I'd say what you want about Kiffin. He's right in this instance.
Absolutely. And so what we're going to ask Rich, but unsatisfactory conversations you had with members of the selection committee, because I remember last offseason the talking point was, well, they're going to factor in strength of schedule, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Right.
And now you're having unsatisfactory conversations about strength of schedule.
Right.
The league is about to get punished. Even though it has chosen to play more difficult schedules, you have a perception now that the league's not as strong as it used to be. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, wins and the number of them are going to be the biggest factor in playoff selection. So a 9-3 SEC team that played 7 ranked teams is going to get punished because there's going to be a 10-2 Penn State that played a lesser schedule, and they are going to get in over the more difficult, more battle-tested SEC team.
Yeah, it's interesting to have this discussion, too, because the SEC has gotten 4 teams in both playoffs, right? Last year, the 2 teams that didn't make it, 2 years ago you had, 3 teams that were on the outside that they said maybe should have been in. And it's Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina. All 3 of those teams, any one of those teams, if they had won another game, would have been in. No questions asked, 10-2 would have gotten them in. Last year, you had a 10-2 Vanderbilt team that did not get in.
They weren't close either. They were not in the discussion.
They were not in the discussion at all. Their 2 losses were to Alabama and to Texas. Texas 9-3, but again, we make that argument. If Texas had been 10-2, they would have gotten in. If they had beaten Ohio State, if they had beaten Florida. And who else did they lose to? Georgia. If they had won one of those 3 games, they'd been in, no questions asked. So, I got to be honest. When we talk about strength of schedule and we talk about everything else, just win your games, guys.
Yes.
Just win your game. And look,
yes.
I'm not asking you to I'm not saying that Texas had to beat Georgia and had to beat Ohio State. They just had to beat a 4-win Florida team.
And Ole Miss had to beat a bad Kentucky.
Ole Miss had to beat a bad Kentucky team. Alabama that year lost to a bad Oklahoma team. South Carolina that year, they had a bad loss. I forget what it was.
Ole Miss beat the heck out of them in Columbia.
But that's not a bad loss, though. Now you're going to make me look. But when I talk about bad, I don't remember they lost to a team that wasn't great.
They lost to Alabama close.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss beat them badly.
Right.
And I don't remember their third.
That's what I'm going to have to look up. And, of course, they got manhandled in their bowl game as well. Their other loss was to LSU. Not a great LSU team at home. They lost to them at home by 3 points. Like, win your games, guys. Just win the games that you're favored to win, and you'd be there. You would be in there. Texas, if Texas beats Florida last year, Miami never plays Ole Miss because they don't get in.
That you're right. That is true. But you have guaranteed 8 more losses. You have to lose those games. And that could be the difference between getting in and getting out, getting a 4th team, getting a 5th team.
It's getting a 5th team. You're always going to have a 4. The SEC is almost guaranteed to have 4 every year.
With the 8 extra losses, I'm not totally convinced. And now, again, you've got the narrative now that the Big Ten is now past the SEC. It's wrong, but that is what they say.
My thought process is, you're correct, like, teams have to lose, right? But teams have to win as well. And there's going to be
already are winning.
There's going to be a couple of there's going to be a 12-0, there's going to be an 11-1, there's going to be 4-10-2s, and you're in and you're done. You don't have to worry about it.
If you will there be a 12-0 SEC team, yes or no?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so. Georgia, their schedule is not incredibly difficult. I think there could be two, honestly, because Texas and Georgia don't play each other. Those are the two best teams to me.
Texas has to play Ohio State, obviously.
They do. That's
they
in
are
Austin.
in Knoxville. Oklahoma and Dallas.
They beat them handily last year.
They're at Missouri, at LSU, at A&M.
And LSU is interesting. At A&M doesn't worry me in the least.
Their home games are Florida, Ole Miss, State, Arkansas.
They should be able to win. They have a great chance to go undefeated.
They will be favored in all of their home games.
I don't know if they'd be favored against Ohio State. But I still think
that'll be like a pick 'em.
I do think they can beat them. And then same with Georgia. Who does Georgia play this year? They're at Alabama. That's their toughest game.
Georgia.
They're at Ole Miss?
Their road games are Arkansas, Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina.
They can win those four.
Those are their road games. Their home games are Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Missouri,
they win all four of those
Georgia
easily.
Tech.
They win all five of those easily.
Georgia's schedule might be the easiest in the league.
It really might be.
That game at Tuscaloosa is the difference.
And it's because Alabama has had their number in recent years. This past year's SEC championship game
makes no sense.
Well, that's college
I don't
football.
get that.
That's college football, man.
It really is.
But this year, I could easily see a couple of SEC teams finding their way to be undefeated. Certainly 11-1 is possible for them. There's a world where they're 11-1. LSU is probably could be in the 11-1, 10-2. Ole Miss is going to be in the 10-2 discussion.
Well, they should be, and if they're not, that's a problem. It's a big problem if they're not in that conversation, which we'll talk about that more on Wednesday.
We obviously will, yeah. But that said, I just maybe I'm just an old man.
You're being an old man about this.
But
you're not wrong.
But in fact, I'm more than not wrong. I'm right. Just win your games and nobody has any problems.
What I'm looking at it from a league decision-making perspective.
You're correct in that.
We're both right.
We're both right. We're in one of those rare situations where we're both right. Yeah. Like they shouldn't have done this, but it doesn't matter if you win your games.
We get to ask the executive director of the college football playoff about those conversations that were unsatisfactory when we come back. What went on in that room? What is the Big Ten doing? Is the playoff fine at 12? We'll ask the executive director of the college football playoff, Rich Clark, when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi, Pearl River Resort Studio, SEC Media Days in Tampa. We'll be back with Rich Clark in just a minute.
From the Seabrook.com.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you in part by Cannon Motor Company.
That's old school.
There you go.
Yeah. Back here on Digital Drive at SEC Media Days. Here in Tampa, we are joined now by Rich Clark, the executive director of the College Football Playoff Committee. I told you I'm going to let Borkey run most of this interview because this is kind of his passion project. But here's my question for you. We're 2 years into this project.
Right.
I feel like the playoff has gone well. I feel like we've gotten exciting games. I feel like the two teams that have won have been the best teams there at the end. I feel like, by and large, the playoff is working the way we want it to. Why is there such a rush to change it?
Oh, Brian. Okay.
Great
That
question.
is a good question. Now, here's my best answer to your very good question. First, let me say thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Both
Absolutely.
of you guys, yep. I do appreciate it greatly, and it's good seeing you again, but you had to start off with a
Yeah.
That's good.
It goes downhill from there, though.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. I agree with you. I think that it's gone very well. we certainly have room to improve. And I always tell my team there is no end to better. You can always get better. And it's one of our core values is excellence, which is elevating performance and better this season than last season, always trying to have that mindset of getting better. And I think from the commissioner point of view, they feel that there's things that we can do to make it better, and expansion is one of them. Now, there's a lot of things that go into it, right? There's the greater access that comes with it. What does it do to student health and safety? That's a part of it. What does it do to the calendar? Like, where do we get these games? Where do we play them? Where do we televise them? That goes into it. What do the fans want? Is this more games, more good games for the fans that they could have and enjoy? Do we decide more of the playoff on the field rather than in a committee room? That's a thing that some people say. Now, if they get to that decision and they determine that they believe from all of the inputs that they get that it would be better to go to 16 or 24 from 12, why wait? Why delay? If that's what you think it is, then do it. And we'll have 2 years under our belt. We've had 2 years under our belt already. By the time we make the change, we'll have 3. But to your point, by the time we make the decision, 2 years under our belt. And if they feel that they have enough space to do it, then I think their view is pull the trigger and let's do it.
So kind of there's a quote from former Florida Athletic Director Jeremy Foley. He says, what must be done eventually must be done immediately.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a way to look at it, right? Another way to look at it, Colin Powell said, once you have 80% of your of the information, execute violently. Take that and go and move. And that's another way to look at it. It's like, look, we have the information. They didn't do it last year because they didn't have what they needed. They weren't comfortable. They weren't happy. They weren't ready to do it. They said, let's see another year. If they decide this year, which they haven't yet, but if they decide this year, it's because they feel like they've got enough to tell us to go execute and give us that guidance.
The only way I can stomach at this point an expanded playoff is if the games happen on campuses. I mean, you mentioned the fans. Yeah. Our fans in particular, the feedback we get from them is the on-campus games have been incredibly popular. Yeah. And I had the pleasure of going to one this year, and it was just – in the way you guys did it, because you're running the game, I know it's on campuses, but everything aesthetically and all that was awesome, and the environments were awesome, and watching them on TV, you get the same feeling. Please tell me there is a thirst in those rooms to make sure that we get more of those as opposed to 4 games in a row at venues all over the country instead of on campuses.
There is almost an insatiable desire to do that. That is a big part of this, more campus games. That can't guarantee that because the decision hasn't been made yet, but in all of the discussions and in all of the format options that we've showed to the management committee, more campus games. If we played another round, they would be on campus.
Good.
So you could potentially have 12 more campus games.
Greg Sankey in his address today used the phrase unsatisfactory conversations that they had with people from the playoff and the committee, specifically weighing strength of schedule. You know that they just added the 9th conference game, and they don't feel like strength of schedule is being weighed appropriately. Can you shed some light on what those unsatisfactory conversations possibly could have been when it comes to strength of schedule?
Well, I was a part of those conversations, so that kind of hit me square in the eyes. I was like, well, but I also know that they weren't that happy coming out of the room. And what he's talking about, we went to visit the coaches and ADs of the SEC. Myself, some of our leadership that help put on the selection process, that help execute the selection process, and with our data analytics experts. And we talk to them about the data that we use, how we use it, what goes on in the room, and they weren't that happy with what we gave them. In particular, I think their thoughts were that they wanted to see us give more weight to the fact that the SEC is a harder conference in their minds for sure, but in many minds that the SEC is a tougher conference than others. And why aren't we weighting that more in our selection process? And if not, how are we going to weight that? So we gave them some insight into how we do things, and they didn't necessarily agree with that. And so ultimately it was not satisfactory to them, what we told them. They want us to relook at how we do our process and do some of the and present some of the metrics that we present. And for many of the coaches, it was less than satisfactory. And we gave them our best. We gave them the truth on how we actually do our selection, and they weren't that happy with it.
Have you guys considered giving more quote-unquote access to the conversations that are had about discussing teams, instead of just one committee chair on a post-game show, but a little bit more insight into what the debates are over?
We've discussed it. Right now, it's there's talks with ESPN about how we can enhance the show, but we have to figure out where's that line of full transparency to actually sort of managing the process in an appropriate way, because it does happen behind closed doors. There are actually people that vote and do the things that we do. So we don't want to betray that confidence, but still give the fans and others probably more insight into how we do it. Like maybe reveal some of our metrics and what they are. Maybe there's more time for discussion, because right now the chairman gets about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes to tell what we've been doing for the last 16 hours.
And how can you summarize?
There's no way. There's just no way. And so, and it's usually, people asking him a few questions and then he's done. Mm-hmm. So there, we're looking at things that we can do differently, but it's a hard one. That's kind of tough. I know to most fans are like, just tell us everything, just put it out there. Yeah, but like in most processes, there is some guarding of the process to make sure that people are free to discuss, to think about what they need to think about in a free and impartial way. So we need to manage that. We need to manage that.
They're telling us that you got to go real quick. The schedule at the end, shortening the gaps between games. I know that's not necessarily your decision, but what's your stance on that?
I don't. Right now, our stance is 7 days in between games, and that's for the students, for the athletes, so that they have that time to recover, to get their legs back under them, to give the coaches, because you also in that you have travel time, and so you're really, and I played college football, and 6 days doable, but not ideal. And in a playoff scenario, we want them to come out there and be ready to play their best and to be their best, and to not have it be a detriment to their health. So 7 days in our minds, and in the presidents of the institution's minds, the commissioner's minds, 7 days is a good span between games for travel, recovery, travel, and play again.
Great. But no more 3 weeks, or hopefully no more 3 weeks or 4 weeks between games?
Well, yeah. Now, sometimes, though, it's going to that 7 days is a minimum. But if you look at the calendar, for example, some of our games are on Thursdays and Fridays. Mm-hmm. Depending on when New Year's falls, we're going to play our semifinals on Thursday and Friday. If New Year's falls on a certain day of the week, to get to the next Thursday and Friday without violating that 7 days, you might have to go to the next Thursday and Friday, which expands that time frame, if that makes sense.
It does.
So minimum 7 days.
Well, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Guys.
Keep up the great
I
work.
appreciate you.
I mean, the
on-campus
product in particular is awesome, but all of the playoff games are. We just enjoy the heck out of it.
We'll keep swinging. Thank you.
That's Rich Clark, the executive director of the college football playoff. And keep in mind, he is not the one that decides the format. So if you're mad about format debates and things like that, as we are,
it's not him.
It's not him. He's not doing that. He's runs
doing a great
the show.
job.
He's doing a great job. The other people are not. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back from Tampa in just a bit.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you in part by Trustmark Bank.
Down the middle, and a big-time hit.
Back here in Tampa, Florida, SEC Media Days 2026. Brian Hadad, Michael Borkey, Sports Talk Mississippi, Houston McDavid, making sure literally everything is the way it's supposed to be. I said earlier today, we're going to have to figure out how to keep people alive forever or figure out how to clone them because we can't replace you can replace me, you can replace Borkey, but Houston, completely irreplaceable. Will East is in Studio X. Our SEC Media Days coverage is brought to you in part by R&M Tire Pros. R&M Tire Pros in Starkville is your hometown tire and auto repair service center that has been serving Starkville for over 30 years. R&MTirePros.com. And my friends at Stone's Jewelry in Tupelo, offering high-quality jewelry and watches from name brands, one of a kind, custom designs, and friendly, knowledgeable service. StonesJewelryInc.com.
I love Rich Clark. I hate the position that he has been put in.
You get the feeling with him being a military guy that he would rather just issue an order. I'm going to get like a Colonel Jessup there. Like, I would prefer you just said thank you and went on your way.
Because we were talking to him before the interview started, and he's getting questions here about, well, why are you wanting to expand? He's like, it's not me. I'm like, think of it like the original Constitution of the United States. Mm-hmm. More on Mornings with Richard Cross. The president didn't really have much power.
By the way, we should point out, everybody is just shocked that Richard walked away from...
That he didn't find his way...
No, that everybody's like, he really is just doing politics now? It's like,
that's what he chose, but... No, we love Richard. But this is more of a Richard conversation. But the original Constitution, the president didn't really have a whole lot of power. They were more of a figurehead. They signed stuff, but...
Right.
And they... could give suggestions, but it was the other branches of government that were supposed to be the ones that were making the big decisions. That's Rich Clark's role. He's more of a presidential role, but he doesn't have executive order power. He's really trying to guide them into making appropriate decisions and also running the playoff itself. But when it comes to this expansion, it's just the SEC and the Big Ten just butting heads over money and TV rights and stuff like that. Greg Sankey did say something interesting today, though. And I've heard this privately, and I don't know if it's true or not. Richard, if you're out there listening, you're the TV guy. You tell me if I'm crazy and I'm misinformed. I think the initial feedback on 24 when it comes to the networks was not
I remember reading that.
super high.
Yeah.
To the point where they might...
Because the networks are going to be, well, I should say, the conferences are going to ask for so much money. Oh, we're doing 24 teams now. You got to pay for that inventory. And people are like, why?
And you're going to get the bad matchups.
Yeah, I'm going to pay a few $100 million extra so that I can get Iowa versus James Madison. Yeah. No, thank you.
And don't roll your eyes,
Kelso. I'm very sorry.
Don't roll your eyes when I say this out there because this is a real thing. The PGA Tour's media rights are coming soon too, and they have open bids from all these networks. The World Cup, the next 2 World Cups are currently up for sale as well. Mm-hmm. And so when the playoff expands, you've got all of these networks that will want to buy college football, but the NFL's media rights deals is coming up kind of soon too. Yeah. So you have the NFL coming up, the PGA Tour, and the last 2 World Cups. And after this year, how successful it was, they want in on that.
Yeah.
So there just really isn't a television appetite for 24 at the moment, and that could save us.
Why's everything got to cost money?
That could save us. Who knows? But interesting stuff there. I really did, and I'm not just saying this. The way that the 2 playoff games that I went to this past season were run. One of them was on campus. One of them was in a stadium. It was perfect. It went off without a hitch. Even like the drone shows and all that stuff, that was the playoff.
Yeah.
And it was great. Like the branding, the marketing, the logistics. The college football playoff truly is a great joy to consume as a fan.
100%. And even for somebody whose team wasn't in it, just to be able to watch the game. As I told Rich, the games have by and large been good. Yes, you've had some blowouts. Guess what? I watch college football every weekend. There's blowouts every weekend.
So there's blowouts in the NFL.
Yeah, there's blowouts in the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
So sometimes it just happens that way. And I think that by and large, especially when we've gotten past the first round and you're talking about knocking the group of 16s. Although, I mean, look at Tennessee. What happened to them when they went to Ohio State? Sometimes you just get a blowout.
Yeah.
But by and large, the games have been good. I feel like the right teams are winning. I mean, is there any question that in year one of the playoff that Ohio State was the best team?
Nope.
I don't think there's any question.
They proved it on the field.
And Indiana was the best team last year.
And Miami was the second best.
I agree with that.
They had to beat Ohio State and Ole Miss to get to where and Texas A&M on the road to get to where they were. They belong.
There's no question. So all of that being said, the playoff format is working. I just don't understand the rush, the desire to make all of these changes. I understand why. At the end of the day, it's about money. There's more money to be made. Everybody wants to get their piece of the pie. I get it, but I just wish somebody would be honest.
Eventually, you're going to push out your paying customers seeking more money.
Well, are you going to push out your paying customer, or are you going to push out the people who are doing the paying? At some point, a network's going to be like, you know what? We'll just do the NFL. We'll do college basketball, but we can't.
And we'll do your top 12.
Yeah, but we can't do this.
The next hour is going to be busy. Matt Berry, Chris Doring, Brandon Marcello, all coming up after the news. Sports Talk Mississippi from Tampa at SEC Media Days. Busy 4 o'clock hour coming up.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is presented by Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi back here live at SEC Media Days. Wherever we are, we're in the Pearl River Resort studios, pearlriverresort.com. And, of course, you can join the show on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. It's Monday. I hope you got your grass mowed this weekend. If you didn't, well, I don't know what to tell you. But I will tell you this. If you didn't mow your grass because you just don't like the mower that you have, if you're thinking, I don't have the right machine for my property, you need to go see our friends at Ag Up. Now, they've got 15 locations across the state of Mississippi, so they make it real easy to go see them. And whatever your property size, whatever your budget, whatever it is, Ag Up has the John Deere mower or tractor for you. 0% financing right now on all 1 through 4 series models. Go see our friends at Ag Up, 15 locations, or visit agup.com. Ag Up and John Deere, built for what's next. See dealer for details.
And it's hot season right now, too.
It's hot.
You don't want to be walking around in a push mower
out
there right now.
No.
Get a zero turn from John Deere. Coming up here in just a little bit, you're going to hear our conversation with Matt Berry. He's going to be the new host of SEC Nation. He has a podcast as well.
Yeah.
We talk about pregame shows on our show a good bit.
We do.
And how they've kind of lost their fastball, especially game day.
In some ways, yeah.
I love that they've added Matt Berry on SEC Nation because if you are a college football sicko, you're familiar with him and his work over the years.
Oh, yeah.
He truly, genuinely cares about the sport from top to bottom.
Been calling games all over the country.
Thursday nights,
yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Then was on he was kind of the last thing, if you're the true sicko that stays up late.
Yeah.
He's the last face you see before you close your eyes. Because he was getting the wrap-up show there. Now he'll be out on the road.
A true respecter of the sport, I think you're going to get here.
Ball knower and ball respecter.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go with that.
That works for me.
It's fine. Good conversation with Matt coming up. Throughout the show today, by the way, we have a lot of great conversations, and they are brought to you by some of our great local sponsors here who have been kind enough to sponsor our support at SEC Media Days. Our friends over at Metro Ford in Tupelo. At Metro Ford in Tupelo, they're more than just a car dealership. They strive to serve their community and are committed to delivering the best customer service. MetroFordAutosales.com. And Coldwell Banker Southern Real Estate. Since 1906, Coldwell Banker Southern Real Estate has been guiding people in North Mississippi to the home of their dreams. Search their listings at cbtupelo.com. I'm excited. And you know me, I don't watch a lot of the pregame stuff because I actually watch sports. I'm not watching
soccer. I thought the World Cup was over.
That's a different thing.
We've got the CONCACAF Nations League come November. All right.
Well, between now and then we have the Premier League, but I'm excited. I will tune in. I want to see how Matt does. I feel like I've always enjoyed SEC Nation a little bit better. I know that they may have the rep of, well, they're not going to the top location, but I just don't enjoy game day the way that I used to.
I don't either.
I've talked about it a million times. I feel like at least with SEC Nation, you get the feel of the SEC. And you get the feel of this game matters. This may not be a game between two playoff teams, but this game matters.
Yeah.
And I've always enjoyed that. So let's do that right now. We'll go to the Farm Bureau guest line, check out favorites.com, and talk to Matt Berry of the SEC Network of ESPN and now the new host of SEC Nation. SEC Media Day is here. Sports Talk Mississippi. We're joined now by ESPN's Matt Berry, the new host of SEC Nation.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited. I've been in studio with Galloway for the last 8 years. And so to get me out of the house and away from him is going to be a treat.
Well, you were in the studio with him, but before that you were out calling games with a guy that I'm very familiar with, a man by the name of Dan Mullen.
Yes, sir.
I want you to grade my Mullen impression.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Well, Matt, we're here at SEC Media Days. I don't have my Yeezys this year, but I am here. What do you think? What do you think about the Bulldogs this year?
9.5.
Oh, I'll take it.
9.5. The Yeezys that's what sold me on it.
Okay.
It was great working with Dan. We called Thursdays together for 2 seasons, and he was in studio with Joey and I for 2 seasons doing college football final and everything in between. So I thought he was perfect for TV. Mm-hmm. I think he's better on the sidelines because he showed his offensive acumen year 1 at UNLV. But the Mullen impression was well done.
Do you think he'll be back in the league?
I believe that Dan Mullen will get many big opportunities coming up. I think that he was very sought after in this coaching cycle. I think that there were schools. In fact, I know that there were schools that were interested in him. And I know that he's just having fun. I know he's having fun again coaching at UNLV and kind of just being a coach right now. Mm-hmm. Because people don't, and this isn't a slight on UNLV, but when you're in the SEC cauldron, first at Mississippi State and doing what he did there and then going to Florida and the pressure that comes with it, sometimes to take a step back and take a step out for a couple of years was a good thing for him. But now just getting back in and showing everybody what kind of coach he is, I think UNLV is perfect. And I do. I think that there's a really, really good chance soon that he'll find himself power forward.
See, State fans are really excited about the possibility.
We are ready to welcome him home.
He strikes me as a guy that would go to like Wisconsin and just destroy at a place like Wisconsin. I don't know why I think that's the job that would fit him best.
When he was at State and every year, I always thought Nebraska would be a great fit for him.
See, you're naming these schools, and I'm sitting here and I said the same thing. Like the one that I kept pointing out, like Kirk Ferentz is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh.
Can you imagine when Kirk Ferentz hangs it up? Like Mullen and I would joke about that. I'm like, dude, if you modernized Iowa, like you could win every year.
That's incredible.
And so you're right. Like some schools, you think about in the Big 12. I know there were Big 12 suitors after him.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't the right time at the right place. And so, it's fun to think about that because when you look at it and you look at coaching nowadays, what is it? What do you need to do to succeed right away? Well, 1, you have to be able to identify talent. 2, you better develop that talent within your culture right away because of the transfer portal. It's not develop like it's been in years past. It's get them in here now, win right away. Well, the guys that we've seen succeed at that had this offensive mind that they're able to put the pieces together for their car parts and win right away. And that's why I think in this era, if he were to get another Power 4 opportunity, he would absolutely flourish.
You're a big college football guy and have been for a long time. There's all this talk about the game and money and transfer and all that stuff. But here in the state of Mississippi, we're statewide in the state of Mississippi, Indiana, I think, has inspired confidence in the fans in this state that, hold on, if they can do it, then certainly we can too. So despite all the chaos and the crap, it feels like the sport is more wide open than it's ever been. And to me, despite how we have to get there, that's a good thing.
So there's 2 parts to that. 1, yes. The fact that, and I just got done saying this a minute ago, not only did Indiana change the game for everybody, Indiana kind of ruined it for every coach in America. Well, why is that? Because Curt Cignetti comes there from JMU, brings some ragtag dudes from JMU up to Indiana, the second losingest program in the history of the sport, goes to the playoff first year, and then wins a national championship at Indiana. It's not like he went to Michigan State or someplace in the Big Ten that had a run of success, or Wisconsin's a good comp. He went to Indiana. And so the big thing that people have to understand is when you start getting to know how Indiana did it, you started realizing, one, it's the biggest alumni base in the country. Did anyone know that until last year?
Yeah.
No. Two, they've got a lot of money. And so right now, money talks. And yes, it's opened the door for fans of smaller schools to say, we can win it like Indiana, but are the resources there? Is the financial backing there? And if so, you're right. College football is wide open, and it's a good thing.
Couple minutes left with you, Matt.
Yeah.
SEC Nation this year. What excites you the most about going on the road with those guys?
We did a show last night. It just kind of gave us an example of how fun the season's going to be. I just think there's something special about college football Saturdays that's unlike any other sport. When back in 2015 and 2016 is when we first started taking Sports Center on the road. And I would do the show leading into College Game Day, and it was either from the College Game Day site or the SEC Nation site. And so you really got a good opportunity to see what it was like being out and about. And when you look at this league and how passionate and how competitively balanced it is, and the towns and the smells and all of that, the barbecue, the families, all the traditions, I think to be able to start the day and start the conversation of SEC Nation and start the college football conversation like Game Day does, it's a privilege. Yeah, I'm used to doing the wrap-up show. I'm used to doing college football final at 2 a.m. and it's just being blurry-eyed for being there 16 hours. That's a different kind of day because you're wrapping it up. I'm excited to set the tone for the day with the fellas and enjoy a fun, fast-paced season.
Can you give us a spoiler on is Game Day and SEC Nation going to double up Week 3? Can you reveal that information right now?
The only thing that I can reveal, I would bet every television network in the country, not just ESPN, will find its way to Oxford in Week 3. Put it that way.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Even
Matt Berry.
big noon kickoff. Why not,
Yeah, why not? It's a fun way to break some rights.
Well, we'll send them away from campus, though. They got to go somewhere else.
Right. Memphis.
Yeah. Matt Berry, SEC Nation, SEC Network. Thanks so much, Matt.
Yeah, guys, anytime.
Sports Talk Mississippi, your new home for exclusive sports coverage here in the Magnolia State.
Let me put it to you this way.
Right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi live at SEC Media Days. We are brought to you by Cannon Motors. See your Mississippi Ford Lincoln dealers. Cannon Ford Lincoln of Starkville, Cleveland, and Pascagoula. 0% APR on select models and all Cannon Ford Lincoln of Starkville, Cleveland, and Pascagoula. Remember, nobody beats a Cannon deal. Nobody. CannonMotor.com. What's up, Chris Doring?
How you guys doing?
SEC Network.
You mentioned the last time we talked, it was like right before the Tulane Ole Miss game last year, right? I think always kind enough to let me crash the set. I was actually in Oxford last week and kind of my second home. Loved being down there with all our Ole Miss friends, but yes, I had a little dinner with Richard Cross and enjoyed my time there despite that.
So a lot has happened since then.
Yeah.
There's a long way to go before we know what kind of head coach Pete Golding is or what kind he's not. But what did you learn about him specifically, not just that day, but through the 3 games he coached as a head coach in the playoffs last year?
Seemed very comfortable despite not having head coaching experience. And I think a lot of it has to do with his authenticity, and the relationship that he's been able to build. Obviously coaching the defensive guys, but the connection that he had with Trinidad and Kiwan and the rest of the offensive guys is not something that's typical. So I think the move that Keith Carter made to keep the train on the tracks and to continue on with Pete Golding despite not having any head coaching experience, to me, is the right one. And, having been around Pete last week, we were in Oxford to do a deep dive with Trinidad Chambliss, was over at Trinidad's house and met his parents and got a chance to talk about this season. What a difference a year makes for not only for Trinidad, for Pete Golding, where they were last year at this time versus where they are this year. The expectation level is going to be extremely high. I think that the most amount of pressure in this conference is on LSU and Lane Kiffin, but right after that, I think it's on Pete Golding and Trinidad Chambliss. And after being with Trinidad, you can see how calm and cool and collected he is when it comes to handling that pressure and expectation and kind of welcoming what people think the Ole Miss Rebels can do this year.
How do you manage that? If you were advising him, I mean, he had the court case situation. Now they've launched a Heisman campaign. He's getting Nike deals. He's on the front page of all this stuff. How do you manage those kind of pressure and expectations to live up to the hype that he's getting?
I think pressure is a privilege, and this is a guy that believed in himself long before anybody else believed in himself, which I love stories of perseverance and self-belief, and so I think he's just enjoying the run, and this is a guy that has been very outspoken about how much he appreciates living in Oxford, just coming down from Michigan, and it's a big change. But I think he is the same guy he was last year. Same charismatic smile, a guy that's going to work hard and be prepared when he gets his opportunity, and he did that last year and has made the most of it. So I just think it's keep being yourself. If you've ever spent time with his parents, Cheryl and Trent, you understand where he gets it from. The son of a former player, a guy that coached him, and Trinidad talking to us about his dad kicking him out of basketball practice and the way that he's pushed him and hold him accountable. He's been dealing with expectation for a long time since he was a little boy. This is just on a bigger scale now.
You mentioned Kiffin and LSU. In this transfer portal era, how do you reconcile expectations at this point? Everybody's going to expect him to come in and put them into the college football playoff, but it is year one, and there's a lot of new faces, a lot of new getting into the system. How do you reconcile all that?
Yeah, I mentioned the most pressure is on LSU and Lane Kiffin. Fair or not fair, when you spend that kind of money on the roster, when you go out and have a high-profile coaching hire like Lane Kiffin coming to Baton Rouge, you expect return on that investment. And, with Indiana, the losingest team in college football history heading into last year, winning a national title, if they can do it, everybody thinks, well, why can't we do it? And so I do think this is the ultimate pass-fail season. If they don't make the playoff, it's going to be an utter failure. And, you look at their schedule, including that trip in week 3 to Oxford, it is not easy. So I don't know how they go about navigating it, but this is a year that the expectation is extremely high for the Tigers.
A lot of new coaches in the SEC this year, including one of your alma mater, who I really like.
I love it.
I think Summerall is a winner, first and foremost. What are your expectations for the Gators this year?
It's so funny, too, because everybody was set on this idea that it had to be Lane Kiffin. And then, that Black Friday when Florida announced they were pivoting, a lot of upset Gators. Then they hire Summerall, and since that time, Summerall's done every interview, showed up at every event, has been on every podcast, just really has embraced what it means to be the Florida coach. I think they're seeing the juice that they wanted to see from Billy Napier that he didn't have from John Summerall. It reminds me a lot of Todd Golden, the basketball coach on the sideline, a very demonstrative guy that's up in everybody's face and getting the fans going. The recruiting wins have been big, but I think the retention of the roster, getting Jaden Baugh to stay, getting Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson to stay, getting Miles Graham and Jaden Woods to stay, they've got some buy-in from guys and a commitment, having been around the program this offseason the way I have. I think it's next level. I think Florida has the biggest jump from last year to this year. 4 wins last year. I think they win 8 or 9 this year.
I think he's a coach, too, that has such a high floor. That's how I would describe him. I mean, 2 different stops, as you know, but he's never not participated in a conference championship as a head coach. 4 years as a head coach, always made the conference championship. I'm a huge fan.
And by the way, I know that Ole Miss people love Summerall too, and had it not been Pete Golding, there was a lot of people I've talked to that said they wish they would have had Summerall there too. So I think he's a winner. He's played in this conference. He's coached in this conference a number of different times at different stops. I think it's perfect fit. Fits what coaching hires is about, and I think Florida got it dead right with John Summerall.
No fake accents either.
No.
I've seen
that's authentic from him, right?
You've got a league. You mentioned pressure, and there's a lot of teams that kind of feel like they're in the same standing. Tennessee, Oklahoma. You can throw A&M in there, maybe, that are all, they seem like they're very similar teams. Yeah. They all have playoff expectations. They all can't make the playoff. So who's going to impress? Who's going to disappoint from kind of that middle group of teams?
I think 2 years ago it was Tennessee that came out of nowhere to make the college football playoff field. Last year was kind of OU and Texas A&M. I think OU's back in that conference. I think they're actually better than they were last year. So I firmly believe OU's going to be back in the mix. I think A&M, having been in College Station back in the spring, I think Coach Elko has something going. Marcel Reed is incredible. New offensive coordinator there. So what can they do to build on the strengths of his legs, I think is something I want to keep my eye on. But, it's going to be a very cannibalistic season in the SEC, particularly with 9 conference games. And I hope we don't hurt ourselves the way we did last year with teams like Texas and Vandy being worthy, in my opinion, but not getting in.
From a Mississippi State perspective, year 3 for Jeff Levy there. I think the thing that sets State's expectations is Kamario Taylor. He's a guy that has, I think, a really, really high ceiling. Yeah. When you watch him play, what do you think of him?
I think of excitement. The move to start him in the Egg Bowl speaks a lot of what Jeff Levy feels like that team is capable of, and giving him the baton last year I think was important. He's going to put pressure on defenses with what he can do with his legs, but he's a much better passer than I think people give him credit for as well.
Chris, appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. See you soon.
Chris Doring at SEC Media Days. We'll have him back on very soon.
Thanks. And that was Chris Doring, former All-American, All-SEC wide receiver at Florida. He joined us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. I'll do this for the rest of the offseason. I am buying stock now on John Summerall.
So I've said a couple times on this show and on Thunder and Lightning that I think Florida will be the most improved team, even over LSU, who at least was a bowl team last year. Florida was a 4-win team last year.
That should never happen.
Well, and then, if we're being real, they should have been a 3-win team. They should not have beaten Mississippi State.
That's exactly right.
So I think that's a team. I would go maybe even a step higher than him. I think they could be a 9-win team that's on the periphery of the playoff. We didn't ask him about the Gators' quarterback competition, which we thought, a few months ago was like, oh yeah, they're bringing in this Georgia Tech guy, Philo, and he's coming with his offensive coordinator. That's a done deal. Apparently not. So they've got to figure that out between now and then. And then from the Ole Miss perspective, for those of you who don't know, Chris is got a family in Oxford that he's up there quite a bit, so he has some inside knowledge on that program. I agree with what he's saying about Golding, that he is under pressure, a lot of pressure, but at the same time, he doesn't really get anything if he's good. Does that make sense?
And that's probably not fair.
It's not fair at all. But he could win 10 games this year, and they go, well, yeah, he had Chambliss and Lacey and all those guys that he didn't recruit.
And what people don't they don't contextualize it anymore,
right?
Because even though those guys didn't come to play for him as the head coach, but those guys had opportunities to go play somewhere else.
Correct.
And I will ask both of them directly on Wednesday about, especially Kewan. Now, you can argue that Trinidad maybe didn't have as many options because of the court case situation, right. But Kewan could have gotten paid millions of dollars to play anywhere in the country. So why did you choose to stay? He had to re-recruit his entire roster.
Yeah.
Everybody on it, and he lost 4 of them.
That's a huge plus for the Golding resume, in my opinion. But the pressure is definitely on because, fair or unfair, the standard has now been set at Ole Miss.
Yes,
they've won double-digit games, 4 of the last 5 years.
50 wins in 5 years.
The standard is there. You have been hired to continue that standard, to improve upon that standard if possible. So there's a lot of work there for Pete Golding. Sports Talk Mississippi at SEC Media Days were brought to you by Cannon Motors. See your Mississippi Ford Lincoln dealers. Cannon Ford Lincoln of Starkville, Cleveland, and Pascagoula. During the summer sales event, take advantage of rates as low as 0% APR.
From thesebro.com, Talk Mississippi continues.
Sports Talk Mississippi live here at SEC Media Days. Joining us now, as he has many times in the past, our good friend Brandon Marcello, CBS Sports. This is the day where, I don't know about these teams. You tell me about these teams. Tell me about Oklahoma. Tell me about.
I don't know anything.
You know more than most. Is there a playoff team in the mix here? Oklahoma?
Yeah, Oklahoma. I've told you this before. It's gotten to the point now with NIL and transfer portal. Mm-hmm. I don't start studying rosters till about like June or July.
Yeah.
And I really haven't even started studying yet still because of this legislation stuff in Washington and other things. But
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so you've been having a lot of fun.
So great.
Great
That's why I got into business. Like, I want to deal with politicians.
We got openings. Richard took off for politics. Maybe you could be next.
All right. You just signed me to a deal. We did it.
All right. Middays with Marcelo coming to SuperTalk Mississippi very soon.
I'd do it in a heartbeat if I could. I love you guys.
So the teams today are not really what we're focused on as much, although maybe we should. I feel like with
the Sooners are a playoff team.
Because they have playoff lines of scrimmage, don't they? Yeah. That's where they're going to be really good.
And their offensive line, which struggled last year, practically all of them returned, and they're better. The experience. Last year, they were just so young up front. It wasn't like they were bad. They were just young. Mm-hmm. And now they're better. And they got in the playoffs last year without a running game and an injured quarterback who couldn't grip the ball. They're not going to have that issue this year unless people get injured again. And that defense is going to be pretty good again with Venables calling it. So I really like OU this year.
And they blew it, but even in that playoff game, they got out to a big lead. Easily. I mean, they were right there.
Yeah, I was at that game, and I was just like, well, let me start writing the obit on the Alabama, situation. Yeah. Kalen DeBoer's probably heading straight to Michigan after this or whatever. I don't know what the Michigan job. Well, yeah, Michigan job.
Yeah, it was.
We're like, oh, he's gone. But then they rallied and won. Yeah, I mean, OU's, they've got the talent. And as Brent Venables was saying, the big thing for them is the mid-tier of their roster is what needs to be better than everybody else. Not the top necessarily. He says we feel like we got that, but the mid-tier needs to be better.
If I could tell you right now, if I could guarantee you that Tennessee was going to get good, competent quarterback play, would you feel good about their chances to be a playoff contender?
No, just because I know everybody's in love with Jim Knowles as defensive coordinator, but if you look through his history, it usually takes 2 to 3 years for his system to start working. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe that's amped up a little bit because of the transfer portal and you're able to fix things. Last year their issue was the back end, the secondary. They brought in some really good pieces there, so maybe they do it overnight. But that's my one hesitation piece. It's like I'm not so sure that defense is going to be day and night better than it was a year ago.
It's interesting that Heupel, you have all of this stuff coaching wise. Well, there's all this attention on Lane Kiffin. Does he need to win a national championship in year one? That kind of conversation. You mentioned DeBoer. You've got some hot seats with Beamer and Levy. And Heupel's just kind of out there floating in space, but there's a metric ton of pressure on him this season, too.
What's crazy, I was talking to him earlier today. I keep name dropping, but we're at Media Days. That's the people he was talking to.
That's who you talked to.
Yeah.
I talked to Brandon Marcello earlier today.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
Several times. He's had 7 different quarterbacks over the last 9 years.
Yeah.
This is his 3rd or 4th straight year with a different quarterback. He's had 5 different starting quarterbacks in the last 4 years. And once again, they're going into that situation, and yet the offense always just produces. Now, a year ago, you could see that they were exploding offensively, but then they played competent competition, and they were averaging like 20 points a game.
Yeah.
They can't do that with whoever the quarterback's going to be. But that's the thing. Like, I'm not worried about the offense. I keep getting asked about, like, is the quarterback situation going to be okay with them? Yeah, because that offense is just tailor-made to be able to score points when they need to. And the big thing for them is that defense. Defense is what's got to get rectified.
It's a great hire in Knowles, though. I mean, it might take a little while, but that was huge at the time.
If you followed him, like, as impressive as he was at Ohio State, what he did at Oklahoma State was insane. And that was kind of a slow build for him. It took about 3 years, and building the talent there and the scheme. I watched them in Bedlam against OU just absolutely frustrate Lincoln Riley, who can scheme it up better than anybody and was scoring points at will. Just absolutely frustrate them, and Oklahoma State beat them. Jim Knowles is legit.
Let's bring it into the state of Mississippi. We'll start in Starkville. He just sort of casually dropped it in there, Levy on the hot seat. I feel like nationally people don't think that because they see a team that went from 2 wins to 5 wins. Yeah. The recruiting's gotten better each and every year. It's people like me who watch every snap of every game and see that some of the in-game decision-making is lacking. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
What's the national perception? What's your perception of Jeff Levy?
Okay, so I'm not a big X's and O's guy, but when watching their games last season, the thing that always stood out to me was like you get out to a hot start, and then like halftime halftime would happen and everything would just stall. And that to me is just game planning, and then the other coaches adjusting, and maybe you're not adjusting as well.
We like to do the meme from American Psycho. It's like, very nice. Now let's see the non-scripted plays.
I love that meme.
Yeah.
Nice, Paul Allen.
That's bone.
That's bone.
But anyway, what's your perception of Lebby as a coach going into year 3? Do you think he can get Mississippi State kind of back to where Dan Mullen had them?
Here's my question for you. We talk about the national perspective almost always being different than the local. Locally, because nationally, I think that the recruiting and the transfer work has been phenomenal. It's maybe not necessarily ranked where people think it should be, but I thought they've done a great job stockpiling the type of talent that they need. They're going to be better this year just because of that. But I hate saying this because I hate questioning coaches because I can't coach.
Right.
But I do question like the in-game adjustments.
Yeah.
That's fair. Like, what is that going to look like this season? Because you've got, having the highest rated quarterback in program history as your starter and in that type of offense, you should be able to score points and make the type of adjustments to be able to keep up with people in the SEC.
100%. From an Ole Miss perspective, a lot of talent coming back to Oxford.
Yes.
I think the most experienced new coach in the SEC with the games he had in the playoff. How much does those 2 games, how much does that really carry over into what you think about Pete Golding as a head coach?
Everybody's familiar with them. The coaches, the staff, the players are. I've made this prediction that Ole Miss is going to have the most explosive and elite offense in the SEC and maybe the country until November. By then, I think Lane Kiffin and LSU are going to have things rolling so much offensively. LSU, they're going to hit a stride there. And at that point, we're going to go, well, LSU's offense, they're scoring 45 points a game here in the last 4 games. LSU's going to start off slow. And I know people hate hearing the comparisons between Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, but that's honestly like my opinion. I honestly think that LSU's offense is going to be really explosive near the end of the year. But at the beginning of the year, Ole Miss is going to come out looking like they haven't missed a beat from last season. They're going to tear it up. They're actually going to tear it up, and they're going to beat LSU early in the year.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. They're going to beat LSU.
Yeah. Now, on that note, is there any other game that you can think of that has what that one's going to have in terms of coach returning? No. Ole Miss went to Knoxville in 2021. You had the trash on the field, the mustard bottle, all that. That was a decade after he left Tennessee. This is 10 months, not 10 years.
You tell me. The thing, if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm worried about where the student section is at all times because
behind one of the end zones.
Yeah.
Covers an entire end zone if you're not familiar.
Go nowhere near that, Lane. You might be tempted to because you like to troll, but don't do it because someone's going to get you, bro. I would not go.
It's like Smokey and the Bandit. You can think about it, but don't do it.
Well, I just remember covering Egg Bowls with Dan Mullen at Mississippi State. And
Yeah.
he would make these proclamations, we're never losing to them again or whatever. And then coming into Oxford that year and then Ole Miss beats him. I thought life was in danger. Because people are on the field afterward, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing's insane. And that's what I loved about the Egg Bowls. It was just so freaking personal. No one was going to hurt anybody. You knew that. But it was just so – but I can't imagine what it's going to be like. I'm going to pitch this to my bosses now. Let me go there for the entire week before the LSU game, and let me do a insider piece where I just drink with everybody for a full week and get the experience.
But you'll get more leading up to that.
Exactly. Hey, all right, see? Co-signed.
I'm in.
Let's do it. No, but, that nothing's going to match that atmosphere this year anywhere. There'll be bigger games like Texas, Ohio State early in the year, but ones that are going to be literally guttural screams. That's it. That's the only one I could think of.
And the main character in this, I'm going to ask Craig Sankey about it tomorrow. He's on this Twitter hiatus, and he's not doing quotes anymore, so maybe that's helped. But, he bragged about the fighting powers of his own fan base. He was doing that kind of stuff going into this. The main character's kind of, poking the bear a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it.
Are you talking about the Ole Miss bear?
No.
The Ole Miss Bear is now the mascot at Lenore Rhine, is where it is. So that bear.
So they took the actual bear.
So I guess they bought it, or Ole Miss. I don't know how they got it, but if you look up Lenore Rhine mascot, it is the actual identical bear that Ole Miss used to have on the sidelines.
I'm doing work here. When did this happen?
It's been at least a couple years.
I'm going to do a story on that.
You got to do that.
Like they repurposed it.
They repurposed the bear. It's at Lenore Rhine. Here, as Hadad sends you out, I'll pull it up for you.
I want to do this story.
60 seconds left. The team last year that was most disappointing was either LSU or Florida. Who will it be this year?
Ooh. Oh, my God. Only 60 seconds to think this through. I'm dumb.
You can see the actual smoke.
Yeah. Alabama.
Oh! What does that mean in terms of a guy who just got an extension?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I really don't.
The thing
is, it's like Bama, the story has been that Bama doesn't quite have the money like other people think they have. But
there's always money in the lemonade stand.
Lemonade stand?
Banana stand. Dang it. I blew the reference. I blew the reference.
I try with it.
I don't know what's happening here.
It never works out.
Bama, I'll say it. I think they lose 2 games this year or 3, but I could see them going on a weird skid. If they can't run the football like they did last year, they couldn't run it at all last year. People have figured them out. They need to get their identity back at Alabama. And I know you hate the comparisons, but they got to play more like Nick Saban ball.
That's right.
In the Venable
Some place for crazy people.
If it's sports in Mississippi, you'll hear about it here. Sports Talk Mississippi on SuperTalk Mississippi.
You really do see it all sometimes here at SEC Media Days. Can't wait for that video to go out on Twitter. We didn't do anything. Just want to point that out. Nothing on our end. Sports Talk Mississippi live here on Digital Drive.
My favorite part about this, Hadad, is Josh Heupel is in the frame.
Yeah.
Walking.
As is my good friend Bill Martin right there. Yeah.
He's walking with a gentleman, or behind a gentleman, that has a bright pink sequins suit on.
You don't know anything. That's magenta.
Okay, I mean, who has the word magenta in their vocabulary?
Somebody whose kid watched a lot of Blues Clues.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you got the
Plus, my wife is a color expert over at Garin, so I know all about colors.
I don't think I've ever said magenta in my life until right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's the first time.
That's the color that it is, though. It's
bright magenta.
Maybe a little bit of fuchsia in there, some puce. I don't know.
Sequins.
Yeah, there was some. I'm more concerned about what was the long, receipt he had hanging down from his neck. I don't know what was going on there.
He and Heupel are going to the same place, though, so maybe he's in search of his quarterback down there. I don't know.
Perhaps. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. We're live at SEC Media Days. Our SEC Media Days coverage is brought to you by our friends at Cannon Motors. See your Mississippi Ford Lincoln dealers. Cannon Ford Lincoln of Starkville, Cleveland, and Pascagoula during the summer sales event. Take advantage of rates as low as 0% APR on select models at Cannon Ford Lincoln of Starkville, Cleveland, and Pascagoula. And remember, nobody beats a Cannon deal. Nobody. CannonMotorCompany.com. How much would what sponsorship? How much would we have to get in the coffers to get Michael Borkey to do a full show live here on Digital Drive at SEC Media Days in that suit?
It would not be a sponsor. It would have to be money directly to
you.
Me.
So
I would
bonus,
do that.
if you will.
I would do that for $500. I would wear that all day because we've been down here since 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's pretty cheap. Can I be honest with you?
I would do it. I would absolutely do it.
I got to be honest with you. I might just have $500. I just might be willing to pay that.
Get me one of those suits, and I will wear that.
That's it. Oh, I got to buy the suit too.
I'm not buying the suit.
What size suit? What size suit do you wear?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Oh, I got to get you tailored. That's just.
You don't have to tailor it. I mean, if it's a little big, it's a little big. If it's a little small, that'd be even funnier.
Yeah. Getting you in a skin tight little schmedium action going there.
Absolutely, and it has to be for Wednesday. So when I get to sit down with Pete Golding for the first time, that's the first impression.
Hold on.
That he gets to
Where
me.
in Tampa can I buy
a
sequined suit? I don't think any of these places have what I'm looking for. I don't think the Gentleman's Guru is going to get me the kind of suit we're talking about.
I don't know
here.
if that's the kind of place we want to go to.
They sell suits. It's a suit. Oh wait, no. In addition, luxury velvet and sparkly sequin tuxedos are available at affordable prices. All right.
I bet that guy was a walking advertisement for that place, was trying to get some screen time and stuff. Oh, man, look at that green one.
I mean,
no, I need something more ridiculous.
It needs to be more ridiculous. Shop all tuxedos.
Exotic design. See, this
Here,
sounds like a website.
If I started a GoFundMe, I bet I could get enough money to cover this. If I said that he will interview Pete Golding and all of the Ole Miss players in this suit, if we could come up with the price of the suit plus an extra $500
cash.
Oh,
you could do worse. You could still do worse than that.
Oh, I don't know about that. Hold on. Go on now.
I like that one in the middle.
It's only $280.
Only $280 for that garbage.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this one's on sale. It's only $200.
Hey.
Abstract, multicolor, sequined tuxedo jacket.
You think Will let us expense
Will,
that?
can I expense a abstract, multicolor, sequined tuxedo jacket? Hold on, they got the Michael Jackson embroidered thing going there, too.
We could repurpose it like the mascot thing.
Exactly. So was that a yes?
Do we get royalties, by the way, on if he writes a story about the Lenore Ryan mascot being the former Ole Miss Black Bear?
Oh, here we go. Look at this. That looks like one of those pillows where you run your hand over and it changes designs.
That's exactly what that is, isn't it?
It's only $150. Will,
$500 cash. $500 cash. I'll do it.
Is a bargain. It's a bargain, Will.
$500 cash. I'll do it. I will wear one of those suits.
I could probably just take a collection up around Radio Row and say, I'm going to get my guy to wear this suit jacket while interviewing a coach and the players. Will you contribute?
And I mean, we've got the SEC.
I bet Peter Burns would go in on that. Peter Burns would give me $50.
He probably owns that.
He might.
He's been to this store already.
It says the Peter Burns collection. Oh, no. There it is. It's purple and gold. A purple and gold sequin jacket.
That looks like something Kim Mulkey wears.
It's only $130. Okay, now I may have to max out the credit card on this one.
After the news, we got another busy hour. Spoiler alert, it's media days. Head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, Will Stein, sat down with us. You will hear that. Then you will hear a conversation we have with the film guy, Brooks Austin. Greg McElroy talked quarterbacks with us. So that is all coming your way in the next hour from SEC Media Days in Tampa. I'm Borkey. He's Hadad. Will East in the studio.
Houston Davidson right
making it all happen. We're in the Pearl River Resort studio. Will Stein, the head coach of Kentucky, after the news. We'll be back.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you in part by Trustmark Bank.
Down the middle, and a big-time hit.
Sports Talk Mississippi back here at SEC Media Days. Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage at SEC Media Days brought to you by Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Company. Local agents and adjusters, great rates, fast, fair claims. Go to msfbins.com to find a local agent near you. We just wrapped up a great conversation. You're going to hear it right now with Kentucky head football coach Will Stein. This shows the power of just asking sometimes. He comes to sit down right next to us to one of our people here on the right. And his SID is there, and I was like, is he all booked up, or can he slide over here? And she says, no, he can slide over there. That's fine. And so poor Houston was out getting a cup of coffee. I was like, get back down here. We need you. We got the head coach at the University of Kentucky.
Lane Kiffin was the head coach at Ole Miss for 6 years.
Never once sat in this chair.
We got more time on Radio Row with Will Stein.
In his first year. Than we ever got with Lane Kiffin. Maybe I had a thought, by the way. I won't be totally shocked if Kiffin sits down with us this year just to troll.
Would
that be incredible if he was like, hey, can I sit here? He's like, absolutely you can. 100% you can.
Conversation with Will Stein coming your way right now, the head football coach at Kentucky in his first year with the Wildcats.
Perfect.
Sports Talk Mississippi from SEC Media Days in Tampa. Now joining us, head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, Will Stein. And, Coach, we're from a state where the rivalry is intense. You live amongst the people. Ole Miss and State are constantly going at it. And if you grow up a State guy, you're always a State guy. Well, you are in that situation right now. You're a Louisville guy coaching Kentucky. How does that sit with you and your people and your upbringing? How does that feel?
Well, actually, my upbringing is all Kentucky. My dad played at UK. My mom went to UK. They're both graduates. My dad's a letterman there. I did not know that I wanted to go to Louisville. Really chose Louisville April of my senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
So I was a 5'10" on a good day quarterback in the city of Louisville and was probably the best quarterback in the state or one of them. I don't know. Somebody probably look up some stats and tell me I was
Just take it. You were the best quarterback
but,
in the
hey,
state.
this is, if I was coming out now, I think I would have been looked at in a different light just because quarterbacks have shrunk. Unfortunately for me, when I was playing, it was still pro style under center, which I did in high school, but I just wasn't the typical height. So, long story short, wanted to go to Kentucky, emailed, called, whatever, didn't get that opportunity. Got an opportunity at Louisville to go there, where my head coach, Steve Crackthorpe, at the time, God rest his soul, his son, Brad, was a freshman at Trinity High School in Louisville. They had seen me play. Jeff Brom, who was a quarterback at Trinity, was at Louisville at the same time. Basically, there was a big Trinity connection to go into U of L. And when I didn't get the opportunity in Kentucky, I went there. And, obviously I had a great career, I would say, for me. Started 6 games, earned a scholarship, played with some great players, played with Teddy Bridgewater. They finally put Teddy in over me, which was crazy. I can't believe I was ever starting quarterback over Teddy Bridgewater. But all roads lead back to this moment to where I'm sitting as the University of Kentucky head coach. I'm a lifelong member of BBN, and it's really cool and surreal to be here.
How's that going to feel? I know you have 11 games before that one, and it's a one-game-at-a-time approach, but how do you think that's going to feel when you're lining up across the field from your alma mater this year?
It'll probably be a surreal moment for me, Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great memories there. I'm not going to sit here and dog on that and say that I hated it or it sucked. It didn't. We had a great time. Played for Charlie Strong, who took me to Texas, there I met Jeff Traylor, who got me to UTSA, and then we killed it there. And then I got to Oregon. Now I'm back at Kentucky. Yeah. So it's all full circle. I think I got a ton of respect for Jeff Brom. Went to the same high school as me. I looked up to him as a kid. And so it'll be a great game, great rivalry. It's very intense within the state. And it's gonna be a fun one.
Obviously, the family ties play a role in your decision to come to Kentucky to be the head coach. But you had a great job at Oregon, and you could have had your choice of head coaching jobs. What made Kentucky the right job at this time for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the nostalgia wears off. You obviously have a lot of pride in your state. You love it from your time as a kid going to games in Commonwealth Stadium. You're close to family, but you don't just take a job just because of that. Right. You can't. If that's why you take a job, you're going to be disappointed. So why I took the job was the ability to win. I felt like I had everything at my disposal to go out there and not just be competitive, but to build a championship level team. And time will tell if that is this team. I don't think anybody quite knows exactly where they're at until you tee the football up come fall. But thinking about a school within your state that when I was growing up, Ole Miss, I think they had their highs and lows. When I was a kid, you all probably look up the records and again fact check me, and they're probably 11-0 and killing everybody. But I don't remember them being dominant. You know what I'm saying? Truly a dominant team until Lane gets the job, and shoot, you look up, it's like, wow, they are freaking unbelievable. They're getting players, they got a quarterback, they got a system, they have a social media presence, they're recruiting, they're getting the portal, come to the SIP, all this stuff. You can do it. Look what Clark did at Vanderbilt this past year. Now, it took some time to get there, but he got the right investment. He got the right, leadership from top down. He's a phenomenal coach. They got a quarterback in Diego Pavia, and they went out and won 10 games in the league. Indiana, we played against them. I lost them twice last year. This is the losingest program in the history of college football. Goes and wins the national championship. Why? They got a coach. They got the first overall pick at quarterback. They have 8 other guys drafted. They have a system. They go out and execute it. So this is the most exciting time to be a college football player, coach, fan, because anybody can go out there with a playoff that's going to continue to expand and go compete for a national championship. So why not do that at a place like Kentucky where Lexington is phenomenal? We got great facilities. We have elite fans. Like, let's just get the right people in play and go attack.
I'm glad you brought that up because as you mentioned, we're in a state that doesn't have the football history that the state of Alabama does. How inspiring is it in Indiana to where, because there used to be dead-end jobs in this sport. I feel like there aren't any dead-end jobs anymore in college football, at least at this level.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, it's very exciting. And anybody can go out there with the right leadership, with the right alignment from top down, and go out there and get a quarterback that can win you games and have a system that can go up and put points and stop people on defense and compete. And I love playoffs. I love playoff football. It's great. Like the old BCS, man, that was always tough because you're a fan of one team, they didn't get in, or the 4-team playoff, but you're number 5, 6. Like, go play the games. Like, let's decide it on the field, which is really cool, I think, for us at Kentucky, and I think teams across the country that they can go and compete for a national championship.
So you said you got to have the coach, you got to have the quarterback. You're the coach. Do you have the quarterback in Kenny Minchie?
I believe we do. I'm really excited about Kenny. I'm excited about his development since he's come on campus. Feels like he's been in my system for a long time. High football IQ, very poised, very accurate passer, sneaky mobile. You know, this guy got like a 38 vert and like a 10.5 broad. Like, this guy can really, he's athletic. And that's something you don't see a lot of times as a backup because you're in there as a mop-up duty. But what I saw, not only from his play at Notre Dame, where I saw elite accuracy and timing, you go back to his high school tape and you see him run around. I mean, this guy's, I think he's a really good player. I think it's just getting an opportunity. Just like you guys got opportunities in radio, I got an opportunity as a coach. It's time for Kenny to take his opportunity and run with it.
How much do you adjust your system every offseason to your personnel? How much changing do you do every offseason?
I would say we do a very big deep dive into what was good, what wasn't good, what can we change and alter, you know, just self-scouting ourselves. Because there's some plays and schemes that you might really love that in your mind was really good, and you look back at the season like, man, that sucked. Like, we thought we liked this play. Why do we keep calling this, you know? Yeah. Or on the flip side, man, we called this play 4 times, and it was explosive all 4. Why did we only call it 4 times? So I think you look at your system and you try to fix it. And really, if the old adage, like, if it's not broken, you know, don't fix it. Ours is like, if it's not broken, break it. Like, let's continue to try to adapt and evolve and try to figure out new ways to attack defenses that are ever growing and changing in college football.
There's a saying I like to say of coaches would rather win their way or rather lose their way than win somebody else's way. You seem like you're the antithesis of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, the guys I've worked for, I've been very fortunate to play and coach for some elite coaches: Dan Lanning, Jeff Traylor, Charlie Strong, Hank Carter at Lake Travis High School, like some really top-notch guys that are always in the mindset of growth, not sitting back and waiting, but being adaptable, forward-thinking, and the pushing the envelope in all facets of the program. So very fortunate to take that blueprint here to Kentucky, do it in my own vision, and just be authentically me and let it rip.
We'd love to sit here for a full hour, but they're telling us you got to go really quick. The greatest high school football player you ever played against or watched in person at the high school level?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a funny story because he was actually listed on the depth chart as, this is from high school when I played at Trinity, in my high school OC, Andrew Coverdale, who's now my passing game coordinator at Kentucky. He will probably he'll be laughing right now as I pull a tag out from my tie. I didn't realize that. So we're playing a team, Cincinnati St. X. They're number 1 in the country. They have probably 10 Division I players on defense. Okay, there's one guy on defense that has no offers, and he didn't start the year prior. And so because he didn't start, we listed him on the depth as a toad. Basically, like, this guy's not very good. He's got no film, no real stats. He's a lacrosse player. Probably not going to be a factor. Well, that guy was Luke Kuechly.
Oh, God.
Okay. And all he did was run around the field the entire day and just make about every single tackle and turn into a first ballot Hall of Famer at linebacker. So
hilarious.
He's probably the best player I've ever played against in high school football.
A Hall of Famer is a good answer. Coach Will Stein, University of Kentucky, thanks a lot. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it.
We'll be right back on
from the Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you in part by Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Company.
Oh, one-handed catch.
Welcome back, SEC Media Days in Tampa, Sports Talk Mississippi, alongside now Brooks Austin, the film guy. We haven't had you on since you were at a hotel lobby before the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
With Ole Miss and Georgia was the last time we talked to you. So let's go back to that game. What specifically did you learn about Pete Golding coaching, playing, and winning that game?
Man, the amount of crap that they dealt with during that week, the idea that he got his football team ready to play and to play that excellently, I don't think that's a word, was extremely impressive, right? Like, everybody knows the story, especially Mississippi fans. Like, the idea of all that coaching turnover. I got buddies that were on that staff that went over to LSU, and I'm sitting down with them during the week, and they're like traveling back and forth from Baton Rouge to New Orleans, like day up, like just nonsense. And I honestly think I think Lane did it on purpose. I think Lane was like scheduling meetings for them to to like make it almost borderline impossible for that guy to win that football game, because nothing looked worse, I would imagine, for Lane in his mind for Ole Miss to win that football game without him as the head football coach. But I mean, the offensive performance was tremendous. I thought there was a stretch there in the middle of the second and third quarter where their defense played phenomenally, particularly Will Eccles. I mean, he was a disruptive monster most of the football game. But both of those games, right, the game in Athens between Georgia and Ole Miss and the game right there in the Sugar Bowl were some of the better football games of the year, I felt like, last year.
You did some studying on quarterbacks, both Trinidad and Camario Taylor. I want to get to that in a second, but you mentioned Will Eccles. He'll be here on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Is he what some NFL people project him to be? Is he a first-round pick, and what does he have to do to get there if he's not?
No, I think he is. I think there's two or three really, really good defensive tackles, interior defensive tackles in college football. Ahmad Moten from Miami is like real twitched up. I can't believe he's coming back to college football. Will Eccles is in that category. David Stone, who I can't believe is not here today, is in that category for me. I think the Hicks kid from Texas A&M is really, really good, but Eccles, Stone, and Ahmad Moten to me are kind of in their own little territory right now. Eccles' ability to accelerate at north of 300 pounds to me is really, really impressive. I can't remember what tape I was watching yesterday, but he ran down like a real twitched up running back. I mean, it might have been, I can't remember, but I mean, got loose. He's unblocked. He's wrapped around the edge, and he's wide nining, like real wide. And then all of a sudden, he realizes the quarterback's about to float left, gets his foot in the ground, and accelerates 1, 2, 3, and runs that quarterback down. And you could see that quarterback get up, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I got ran down by who?" And I think there's a lot of that when you turn Will's tape on, is like just how twitchy and explosive he is. I think that's the most impressive thing to me.
When we talk about new coaches in the conference, do you consider Golding a new coach, or what he did at the end of the year, does that give him a leg up over somebody like a Will Stein?
Yeah, to me, yes. I mean, he's won a playoff game against a dude, by the way. I mean, I hate to say this, he out-coached Kirby Smart in that football game. And that alone is like your first opportunity to be a head coach, and you go out in a big game like that and you do that. That was tremendously impressive to me. But, yeah, I mean, having that, it is a first-year head coach in the sense that this is finally his team. You know what I mean? He's not coaching somebody else's verbiage. He's not coaching somebody else's team. He's not overseeing somebody else's offense. He's got the full reins of the football team. And I do think you're probably, I would imagine, going to see a little bit more of a defensive minded approach as a head coach, because the defense coordinator is the head coach.
The financial resources have been more balanced defensively.
Yeah, you're not, grabbing safeties from Wazoo.
Yeah.
You took one from Georgia. It's a little bit different.
On YouTube, you're the film guy. What's the exact, if somebody's looking for your work, it's just the film guy on YouTube?
You can just search the film guy. It's the Film Guy Network, but you can just search the film guy. We'll pop up. We're pretty Google strong on that film guy. Kind of cornered it.
The SEO.
Did all right there. Yeah.
So you watched Camario Taylor recently.
Yeah, I did.
And he really popped. What did you see from your study of Camario Taylor's game?
Yeah, so it starts with the offense of Mississippi State, right? They run that wide choice, okay? So they're way outside the numbers. They play really, really fast. They put a lot on the quarterback to make rapid decisions. They're not reading a lot of coverage, but they're making really split decisions really, really quickly. And I said on our show, I think he's the traitsiest football player to play in that wide choice system. So we're talking about guys like Hendon Hooker that played it really, really well at Tennessee. This ain't that. This kid's as big and way faster than Hendon Hooker, and I think he's a little bit better of an arm talent, right? You look at guys like Dylan Gabriel down there at UCF. Byron Brown's going to be here this week. He's a really physically impressive football player, but he's not near the thrower that Kamario is. And that's the other thing. Like, I am very well aware of who Kamario Taylor was coming out of high school. I'm an Elite 11, believer. I go to the Elite 11 finals every single year. I pay tooth and nail to go out there in L.A. and go watch that because I'm a firm believer in that event from a standpoint of, a lot of people say film don't lie. You've probably heard that adage in the football world before. I think it does about quarterback. If you're just watching film on quarterbacks, it will lie about the life, the velocity, the spin rate, the mechanics, about particularly high school quarterbacks, because we're playing from different vantage points on that film. We can't really see what we're actually supposed to see. So that's why I go out there every year. And I say that because I watched Kamario at the Elite 11 finals, 2 years ago? And I thought, hey, it's a great athlete. He's going to run around a lot, but man, that needs a lot of work from a throwing the football standpoint. A lot of work's been done. The lot of work has been done. This kid is very, very clean from a throwing standpoint. I think he is the most traitsy football player, 6'4", 230. I bet he's a 4'5" athlete. Is a great thrower of the football that I've probably seen come out of that wide choice system. And I expect a lot. I even said on our channel, if he doesn't succeed, it's because everything around him's not good enough. It's certainly not because of him. I think that kid is extremely talented.
When you watch Mississippi State play, and I watch every snap of every game, they have receivers running open all the time. It's a matter of protection with Mississippi State. If that offensive line is better with what you're saying with Taylor, it feels like this could be an offense that takes a big, big jump this year.
And he's probably going to alleviate a lot of those problems. In the football world, we call it balancing counts, right? If your quarterback is not a rushing threat in the actual run game, I'm not talking about a scramble. Most of these guys can scramble nowadays. They're not Peyton Manning. They're not statue quarterbacks. Most of these guys can move some. But if you're an actual runner, if you actually can have design runs with the quarterback, it alleviates a lot of that pressure on that offensive line because, what was a heavy count, meaning they got 7 guys and we only got 6, now it's balanced. We have 7 because our quarterback is now a rushing threat. So a lot of that will be alleviated, I would imagine. And just his ability to create as a scrambler is really, really impressive. I got done watching the Ole Miss. That's who it was. Will Eccles ran down Kamario Taylor on tape. That's what it was. That's the game I was watching. But anyways, I was watching that, and he makes a play late in that fourth quarter where it's buddy, you should be tackled 7 times. I think 8 of the 11 players on the field got hands on you, and you just slipped right through them. That type of stuff will alleviate a lot of those problems. But you're right. A lot of wide open receivers running down the field in those offenses at times, but hey, if we can't protect, it does not matter. So, gonna have to be better around him for sure.
You being the film guy, and you like terms traits and twitch. Who's the best athlete in the SEC?
Ooh, that'll probably be one of those questions I have to sit here and think about.
There's a great content idea for you too on your channel.
For sure. Kamario Taylor's up there. The Raleek Brown kid coming over from Arizona State to Texas is phenomenal. I like a Dable over there at Oklahoma. He's traitsy as hell. I got Nigerian scouting traits that I like. It's a theory that I have. Every Nigerian I've ever studied is oh my God, he's going to gain 30 pounds of pure muscle. The moment he gets there, he won't lose a second.
I'm old enough to remember Christian Okoye. So,
right?
Yeah.
He won't, just Google it at home, Nigerian pass rushers. You'll get a list of 75 guys over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of them in this league. Man, it's hard to put. The safety coming in at Mississippi State, is it Braylon Womack?
Braylon Womack.
That kid,
he'll tell you all about him.
That kid's traitsy. I'm excited to see what he's going to be in this conference. So, I think it's too many to pick from, honestly. Yeah, I'm going to have to sit down and think about that one.
I saw Braylon Womack. I call his high school's games on Friday nights. His quarterback got ejected for celebrating, And it's a playoff game.
Yeah.
And they just put him at quarterback and just take the snap, just run left, take the snap, run right. Yeah. And he scored 2 more touchdowns in the game by himself, just snap and run in a playoff game, and they won.
No, that's about right. Like that's high school football sometimes. It's like, can't overthink it. Like, we have the best player on the field. Hey, here's a bright idea. Let's get him the ball. Yeah. Just get him the ball. It might something happen.
Brooks, appreciate your time here at SEC Media Days.
Excellent stuff, man.
Again, the film guy, check him out on YouTube. Really good, in-depth college football coverage.
He's got film studies both on Taylor and Trinidad recently.
And guess what? We're going to re-release not re-release the same stuff. We're going to go watch different games coming up soon in August. I'm going to go 31 days, 31 quarterback evaluations. We're going to hit all the big boys. So, big Trinidad guy. I think Trinidad is the best returning quarterback in college football. And if anybody says otherwise, they're wrong.
There we go. Sports Talk Mississippi live at SEC Media Days. We'll be right back.
From the Seabrook.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you in part by Cannon Motor Company.
Sports Talk Mississippi, we are back live here at SEC Media Days in Tampa, Florida, in sunny.
Is it not today?
It's still rainy out there?
Rainy and stormy today, but that's okay.
So be it.
We're inside.
Yes. Whatever you're planning for the future, when you bank with Trustmark, tomorrow starts today. Trustmark, people you trust, advice that works. Member FDIC, Trustmark Bank, one of our great sponsors here for SEC Media Days. We're about to go now to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and talk with a friend of the show, Greg McElroy,
and hater of Trinidad.
Oh, stop. How dare you?
He picked him second.
Don't. First off, don't spoil the interview. But secondly, yes, we do talk about some of the great quarterbacks here in the SEC.
Really thoughtful stuff.
Really good stuff. And a guy who, he played the position, he knows the position, and of course will be on the call for some of the biggest games in college football this year. Let's go down to our interview with former Alabama quarterback, SEC Network host, and Mac and Cube host, Greg McElroy. Sports Talk Mississippi, we are live here at SEC Media Days, and we are joined now by Greg McElroy, ESPN, SEC Network, Mac and Cube in the morning. I like how you got top billing on that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to figure out a way to make it Hadad and Borkey in the afternoons.
I don't even know how that came
to be. That will never happen.
I feel like alphabetical order always makes a little more sense, so it should probably be Cube and Mac, but I'm okay with whatever.
Don't complain. So, quarterbacks in the SEC this year, I feel like I still, as we sit here right now, I haven't made my decision on first team yet between Trinidad Chambliss and Arch Manning. Gunnar Stockton's going to get some votes as well as that. Who's the top quarterback in the conference for you?
For me, it's Arch Manning, and it's partly because of how well he played down the stretch. Now, here's the part, and I love Trinidad. I absolutely love Trinidad. There are more questions about Trinidad this year than there was last year, as weird as that might sound. Now, hear me out. Hear me out, right?
We're listening.
New OC, new supporting cast of wide receiver, same running back. We love Keywan Lacey. He's amazing, right? But there's question marks about his supporting cast. Whereas I think with Arch, his supporting cast has actually improved in many areas. And if you look at the struggles that he might have had at times last year, it was partly because of the protection and or lack thereof. And also, I also look at how he kind of weathered the storm. There was never really that adversity. There was a ton of adversity, and he came through it as a better player, a more well-rounded player in the last 6-7 games of the year. He was lights out. So I lean Arch. I also think when I went back and I spent a lot of time on Trinidad, there was, for whatever reason, there was a 2 series, maybe 3 series a game where it was like, okay, what the heck? If he could just play 4 quarters every week, the guy's unstoppable. But there was a couple, the fourth quarter at Georgia in the regular season probably being the best example.
First half, South Carolina, he was bad.
A couple, it's a quarter here, it's a quarter there, it's a quarter and a half here. I think if just consistency for him is what would have me having him second. But also ceiling for him is absurd too. And we saw when he's at his best, no one's touching him. So looking at the bigger picture, I lean Arch. but it's by a pretty narrow margin. I think Trinidad's actually got room to grow off last year, which is pretty remarkable given what he did.
You mentioned supporting cast. Deuce Alexander back, but everybody else, I mean, it's Jonte Cook, Horatio Fields, Darryl Gill. Caleb Cunningham's been with the team, but not a starter or really a big role player. What is the biggest challenge for a quarterback welcoming in a new crop of receivers that he did not depend on last year?
Well, I mean, I think Trey Wallace was great last year. Daquan Wright was amazing last year, especially in got-to-have-it situations. For whatever reason, Caden Lee, his level of involvement wasn't ever what we thought it was going to be. It was a little banged up, whatever that reason might be. Winston Watkins was there last year as well. Now, Deuce was great, but Deuce is a great jet sweep guy. You know, like he's a jet sweep, get him the ball, get him on a screen, let him run. Like he's a ball in the hands after the catch type of guy. I need to see from him kind of the next level of his route running, his polish. We know he can go get it, but what is he as a down in, down out wide receiver? I think there's questions there. I still like his skill set. I think Jonte Cook's going to have a nice year. He's got a nice skill set. It's been heavily regarded for a while now. Really well coached, obviously, in his time at Texas and Syracuse last year. So I think he has a chance to kind of be your X, which is a very important position in this group, in this offense. Last year that was kind of occupied by DeJon Stribling, who's just a big physical guy into the boundary that's going to make the catch, that's going to be able to work the back shoulder, get behind you, what have you. So I like their supporting cast. I have a lot of questions about their supporting cast as well. And it's not because I doubt their personnel. It's more just I thought so highly of their personnel last year. I think it's going to be very hard to replace those roles that you had last year. So maybe Cade Cunningham is that guy. Maybe Caleb Odom develops into becoming a real threat in the red zone. Maybe there's a lot of questions that we have. Maybe Luke Haas becomes comparable to Daquan Wright. I don't know if he will, but maybe it's in there. So there's question marks, but I like him a lot. I just think last year's group was so well built, specific to the role they were asked to play. And I don't have those answers just yet.
Last thing on this, John David Baker had good offenses at East Carolina, but what is the biggest difference between calling offense at an East Carolina in the American Conference versus calling offense in the SEC? He's got better players, but so does everybody else.
Pass rushers. I mean, it's just that's as simple as that. Like, I am not going to sit here and tell you guys I am well schooled on what UAB is running out there to get after the quarterback. I can't tell you necessarily what Rice has at D tackle. I don't know that. I do know that in the SEC, everyone's got a guy, and that's been that way for 25 years. In my time following the league, playing in the league, studying the league now as a broadcaster, everyone's got a guy that's probably going to be in the first round and can take over the game if you let him. I mean, it's simple as some are just great college players, but man, they'll kill you. And I don't think at East Carolina you have to adjust your scheme as often because you don't have the defensive linemen that can flat out kill you if they are unaccounted for. So, for example, let's just say you're playing South Carolina. South Carolina, if you leave Dylan Stewart one-on-one with your tackle, you are dead. Literally dead. I don't care how much tempo you run, how quickly you snap the ball, all the RPO eye candy that you can give him, like, you are dead. He requires a tight end, and if a tight end's not there, the back better be over there to help you out in protection. And there's a handful of guys like that throughout the league. So I think just making sure that your protection is sound, making sure that you are in a position where your quarterback is upright all the time, has the answers when they are unblocked, does he know where they're coming from? That's a tricky part of playing in this league, and that's something you just can't really prepare for as a play caller. I think you asked Ben Arbuckle, the guy that made the transition last year from Washington State to Oklahoma. It's not like he forgot how to call offense. Right. That dude put up 1,000,000 points at Washington State. I think he just realized, oh, man, like these guys on defense are dudes. Like we can't just win every one-on-one. Sometimes that corner is going to actually cover our receiver that we're trying to scheme it up for. So it's pretty crazy, but it's also probably fun for JDB to try to figure that out.
I want to ask you about a quarterback. Last year you and I did an interview, and you were sky high on Austin Simmons.
Yes.
Absolutely sky. And I was too. I thought he was really, really good. And then everything happens the way it happens, and now he's at Missouri. And I feel like people have maybe written him off just a little bit. Have you?
No, not at all. His ceiling's still absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, you just watch a guy throw the ball. It's like, oof. You know, like, there's just guys that are different. I really wish I was one of them.
Just different counter.
It's first of the He's just different. I mean, the ball comes out different, and it spins different. And granted, it spins the opposite way from the way I threw it, or most of the guys we cover throw it. because he's a lefty, but, I mean, he's unique. And I think last year he kind of learned some hard lessons, probably learned a little bit how to deal with adversity, which would be helpful. He threw picks early. And I think he needs to know now, hey, man, you don't take care of the ball. I don't care how talented you are, you can't play. That's going to be helpful, I think, as he grows and develops as well.
Speaking of ceiling, the guy in Starkville, Kamario Taylor, really high ceiling.
Crazy.
I look at this guy and I think that could be right there at the very top of this conference maybe next year when we meet here again. What are your thoughts on Kamario, and can he elevate Mississippi State beyond what we've seen the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback's the ultimate neutralizer, right? And look, Levy's offense is so quarterback friendly, and I think Kamario Taylor's so fun to watch, man. I think he's really good. You don't want to put too much on his shoulders and start making comparisons and he's like this guy. He's like that. That's just not fair.
I hate player comps.
It's not fair. It's just not fair because mentally, we'll see where he's at as he gets more comfortable. Like Dak Prescott wasn't Dak Prescott until his senior year,
right?
And then guess what? That's okay.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it takes guys a couple of years to reach their ceiling, but he got there in time. So really optimistic about Kamario Taylor. What a skill set, and he's the guy, right? Like, he's the guy that's got to elevate the program because, frankly, the level of talent around him is never going to be as comparable to what you'll see at some of the other places that he'll have to play against. So, guess what? Quarterback, ultimate neutralizer. Cam Newton won a national championship. Not a single guy on that offense ever recorded an NFL catch or an NFL carry.
Yeah.
An NFL anything.
Right.
He won a national championship with that supporting cast. So, it can be done. They have really good corner. I love what the hire they made on defense. Zach Arnett. Hopefully they can get some short fields, but they're going to have to win some games in the margins. They just couldn't quite finish last year, but super bullish on what Jeff's done. I think Levy's done an amazing job, and I'm really optimistic they're going to get some of those big wins this year.
Greg McElroy, SEC Network and ESPN, man. Thanks so much for your time.
Always fun, boys.
Back in just a few minutes here at SEC Media Days.
Sports Talk Mississippi's coverage of SEC Media Days is presented by Pearl River Resort.
We're back here at SEC Media Days. Brian Hadad, Michael Borkey, Sports Talk Mississippi. We want to thank our sponsors here. All four of them here are big sponsors: Pearl River Resort, Cannon Motors, Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance Company, Trustmark Bank, plus some of our local sponsors as well. Exhaust Pro Tire and Lube is Southwest Mississippi's headquarters for tire and wheels, preventative maintenance, and automotive repairs. Go to exhaustprotireandlube.com. And Fastnet. Fastnet is the fastest, easiest, and most reliable internet option available in the Golden Triangle. All brought to you by 4 County. No contracts, no hassles, no data caps. Go to 4cfastnet.com.
We have not been able to be active on the text line today, as you can imagine, because we've had, just interview after interview after interview after interview. Really enjoyed sitting down with Will Stein, just popping him in between us.
Again, kids, if you're listening, it never hurts to ask. Make them say no. Literally, he was doing an interview next to us. I asked the SID, is he so locked up, or can we get him over here? And she just looked at me and was like, no, he can slide over. And we got an interview with the head coach at the University of Kentucky, which I thought was fantastic and gave us a great clip that I assume will be in the viral nature soon.
That was outstanding. I like him on the podium. Somebody asked him, why do you think Kentucky's going to win? He said, because of me. And, you can take that one of two ways. Because you can take that as arrogant. Oh, he thinks he's going to win. But also, don't you want your head coach saying, I know the program is going to win because I'm going to be the one running this thing? I like that confidence from the young first-time head coach of, How do I know that we're going to win? Because you're asking me. I'm the coach here. We're going to win.
I believe in myself.
Yeah.
I believe in my players, and we're going to win. I mean, I don't want a coach who would say the opposite. Why are we going to win? I don't know. We're not, to be honest with you. It's going to be a long road to hoe.
Okay. I am curious. He's not going today, but Ryan Silverfield. I mean, that's going to be – and look, they're going to be picked to finish 16th in the SEC. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's the bottom is exactly what you thought it would be, but I don't know if Arkansas is going to finish at the bottom of the league. And
no, I mean
every other team feels like they're not there, though.
2 years ago, I don't think we thought Mississippi State was going to be the worst team in the league, and they were. I don't think we thought Arkansas was going to be the worst team last year, and they were. And so here we are this year. Who do we think is going to be the worst team? Arkansas. They might not be at the end of it. That's why they play the games, as they say. So,
all right. You want to end the show with some laughs?
Sure. So,
this is a golf tournament.
Yeah.
So, the USAM's been going on, but there's also the US Junior. It's obviously a national event for junior golfers.
Sure.
Here are some names that are in the field for the United States Junior Golf Championship.
All right.
Rollin Sutter.
Okay.
Brody Brumlow.
And all these guys go to Ole Miss?
No.
Okay.
Lane Krotz. Taft Curry.
Oh, come on. You sure these guys don't go to Ole Miss?
Oh, it gets better. Stratton Cushman.
I believe I have my 401k is invested with Stratton Cushman.
Trip DePoy. Daxton Galliene.
Daxton is not a real name.
McCartney Hinkle.
Oh, come on.
Hudson Justus.
Dude, the what is ever that list that Bunky Perkins puts out? Got nothing on this.
Seamus O'Halloran. Oh, this is my favorite one. Will Pizza.
All right, finally something normal.
Will Pizza.
Will Pizza makes sense at least.
Anson Munslinger. John Wiley Richardson.
Okay.
Crew, spelt C-R-U, Sullivan.
Okay.
Nash Yogurtian.
Nash Yogurtian.
Briggs Winfrey.
What happened to you? Nash my Yogurtian the other day. It really hurts.
Briggs Winfrey and Nemo Tasai.
What was the last one?
Nemo Tasai.
Tasai.
All playing in the United States Junior Golf.
Nemo Tasai died in the Battle of Coruscant in Revenge of the Sith. He was a Jedi. Nemo Tasai.
I figured you'd appreciate
That's great.
The golf.
And those guys are worthy to sit on the throne of Tondarius Stallion, Harper Poppenheimer, and Dun Fruge.
That's it for us today already. Day one in the books, SEC Media Days in Tampa.
You just thought today was loaded. Tomorrow is more loaded. We have got a lot coming up tomorrow, and then, of course, on Wednesday, it's Ole Miss Day. We'll have the players. We'll have Coach Pete Golding. Thursday is Mississippi State Day. The players and Coach Jeff Lebby. We've got nothing but content coming to you. If you are a sports fan, if you love college football, Sports Talk Mississippi is the place to be.
Yeah, Greg Sankey tomorrow.
Greg Sankey tomorrow.
Well, that'll be the big one. I've got a lot of things to
I've only
ask
got one
him.
thing to say to him. It's like, if you book a hotel that's a Pepsi hotel ever again in your life, I swear I'm going to snap. I haven't had a Coke Zero all day, Will East.
Thank you for making our show a part of your day. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 o'clock, as always. For Will East in the studio, Brian Hadad, Houston, who's making it all happen. Day one in the books. Been a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Good night.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.